Hey everybody, Professor Just here. This is a course introduction for MGT 291, section CA, so the honors section of 291. Just want to walk you through Canvas as well as your syllabus. Make sure you are completely comfortable with all the deliverables as well as how the class is structured and set up. Feel free, of course, to send me an email and let me know if anything's confusing or you need more details. There is, I would say, a learning curve to make sure for any online class in particular, to make sure that you get into the flow and the sequence of how everything works. And usually after the second week, everybody's pretty much got it down because there's some consistency here. So that's what I want to do today. So this is what your homepage should look like. Just some reminders. Syllabus tab is going to have a list of all the deliverables as well as the actual Word document of the entire syllabus. The modules link, that's my recommendation for what to follow along. There's one module per week, and that's where a lot of your content is explained and housed. And then the people link, that is going to show you who is on your team for your research project. Those haven't been assigned yet, but they will be relatively soon. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you the announcements page. There should be, by the time you're seeing this, 2 announcements. One was sent out relatively early, and well, the first one you'll see when I show this video will have an explanation of what you should do to get started. Check out the syllabus, get started on Module 1 if you want to, check out or get the access to the book, all those good things. So make sure you cover all the items that are in that first announcement once you're watching this video. The syllabus, it's going to show you all the deliverables that are in here by due date. You can click on this link and it's going to take you straight to those deliverables. It's got the due date in here for everything. So if you're very much about deadlines and scheduling, that should help. If you click this button, it'll take you to a Word document that is shared in Google Docs that looks like this. And we'll go over this together in just one second. The modules, I think, are a great way to stay organized. There's 2 introductory videos that I would start off by checking out. There's going to be this course introduction as well as the instructor introduction, so make sure you watch those. Let's go back to modules. Okay, so there's 10 content modules. Module 1, what is organizational behavior? And it lists the Monday through Friday of that week, and that's the way it's set up going forward. Module 2 the next week, Module 3 the next week, so Module 4, here's the topic the next week. There's 1 week for an exam, so no new content in there, but you'll take your exam on Friday the 26th. There'll be some review material that's set up in there. Module 5, Module 6, Module 7. I put in what I call a buffer week. You just never know. Every year I feel like something weird happens and I just wish that I had a buffer week in there. So I've put this buffer week during what for most people was supposed to be that spring break. But because of the way they're doing the semester this year, they've gotten rid of spring break and they're creating wellness days, which doesn't work as well for an online asynchronous class. So I've put that in because I think that just makes sense. Exam 2, again, no new material, but you will you'll have some review material that's put in there. Let's see, Module 8, Module 9, and then we have a research project feedback week, and I'll explain that in a second. And then Module 10 is your final module, and then there is the final research project, right? So over here is the rough draft. Over here is the final submission. There's nothing else that week. And then you got your final exam week. So it's just exam 3 will be during that final exam week. All right, so that's what the modules look like. There are some discussions, which I will talk through pretty soon. It's always ordered by recent activity, which is a little annoying, but Module 1 through 10 all have a discussion. You could look at all of your individual assignments through the assignments link, so that you have everything in one place. These are organized by due date. Quizzes, that's actually just the 3 exams, which are going to be monitored through Proctorio. You'll have an entire 24-hour window to take those exams. So any day, any time on the 26th from that entire 24-hour framework, you'll be able to do exam 1, 2, and then whenever exam 3 ends up being. That'll be a university decision on when exam 3 takes place. And then you can always check out your grades and then see who's on your team when that's assigned. So let's go back to the syllabus. We'll walk through this a little bit. This is an asynchronous class. You can knock on my door, but I will not be there. I'm sitting in Cincinnati and will be all semester long. And part of the rationale, just so you guys know, I've got 2 little kids. I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, well, almost 4 and 5.5, and they are in school, kind of. And then in addition to that, my wife works 70, 80 hours a week for a large multinational publicly traded company that she's in charge of litigation for all of North America. So she is a busy, busy lady. And so asynchronous online is really our only choice. But I feel like I've got it down, and last semester was amazing. It was probably the best evaluation scores I've ever had. So I'm excited about it. I think that this can work when it's done right and it's done well. You can contact me whenever you want. My business hours, I would say, are 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. I'll meet with you on a Sunday at 10 o'clock at night if you want. Any time that you need to meet, I'll make sure that I find time. Given the pandemic and what it's done to scheduling, at least for my family, I work 7 days a week all the time whenever I can. And so don't hesitate, to be constrained by traditional business hours. I'll meet with you whenever you need. So it's nice to go through the course description, make sure you understand what we're doing and what this is all about. I like to start it off with this nice quote about once upon a time, everything in life was lovely, but that was before I had to deal with people. So this is really about human capital, right? People are tough, right? To manage other people and to lead other people can be complicated because people are messy, right? You can manage processes, but processes a lot of times have some degree of common sense or logic to them, right? A plus B equals C or something like that. But with people, it gets super messy. So that's really what we're trying to accomplish, and I'll let you guys read how the mission of Farmer School applies to this class, and course objectives and behavioral objectives. All those will make way more sense when you're done with the class, actually. But this is really about understanding how people operate in a business environment and coming at that from a variety of different angles to help you figure that out. In terms of course materials, there is one thing that you need to get, and it is free. So I wrote an ebook, and it is called A Field Guide to Human Capital Assessments. Go to my website, sign up for the newsletter, and then it'll automatically send you an email, and it'll give you a link where you can download it. We can use some of those discussion items that are in the newsletter for class, but anytime during the class or after the class, if you don't want to get that newsletter anymore, just unsubscribe. So you'll get the ebook no matter what. Just unsubscribe if you don't want that stuff. Class correspondence, please make sure you use your Miami email, and a lot of times you'll want to make sure you're using your Miami email to access some of the shared links that are embedded in the course, because you're going to need a Miami email most of the time in order to see it and download it. In terms of the deliverables, there's 3 exams, each one worth 200 points out of 1,000, so 20% of your grade. And then we have 3 other items. So 2 of those items, the module write-ups and the module discussions, so together 10%, 10%, 20%, those are those 10 modules I showed you in Canvas, and there's basically 1 week. So not every week, but you have 1 week to do a module write-up and 1 week to participate in the discussions, which I'll show you in a second. And then the research project, that's really the big group project. It's not an individual project, it's a group project that we'll be chipping away at through the entire semester that has multiple sequential deliverables that we'll get through. And that really is what this honors class is all about. There needs to be a research component to it, and we've had a lot of fun in past semesters with honors students doing these research projects, which you'll get more details about as we move forward. So here's the cutoff points, in case you're ever interested, for grades. Here's my rounding philosophy, just so you know in advance. So for exams, there are 3 exams, and everything is fair game. It's open note, open book, and then here's the fun part, open internet. You can use whatever you want, and here's why. When you graduate, your boss is not going to tell you, I'm sorry, to get this deliverable done, to get this project done, you can't use your computer, you can't use your internet. That's crazy. So the way that my exams are set up is you can use whatever you want. You can use the PowerPoints that I put up, you can look at the lecture slides, you can check out the textbook, you can take all the notes that you made on cases or whatever. Everything's fair game. You can Google things on the internet. You can do whatever you want. The only thing you can't do is communicate with other people, right? You have to take the exam by yourself. Everything's monitored through Proctorio. You'll be able to like flip around your screen. You'll be able to go on the internet. You'll be able to do anything and everything while you're in Proctorio, but it'll be recording it to make sure you're not, talking to other people or whatnot. So just put your phone away and do your best to be alone, and everything will be fine. And again, my philosophy on these exams is to try and make this as real world as humanly possible. And so you're going to have 15 multiple choice questions, and they're hard. It's not going to be simple definitions that you had to memorize. It's going to be things that are pulling from all different parts of the class and forcing you to it'll help differentiate those that they just kind of passively internalize the material versus those that really grappled with it and understand it, to another level. My recommendation is to use your weekly module assignments. That's your studying for exams. Those assignments, the module write-ups and the online discussions, are not hard. It really is about effort. And if you're going to do it, if you have to do it in order just to get those however many points every week, you might as well use that as you're studying, right? So you shouldn't have to cram for this exam. There really should be nothing that you have to do other than show up every day or every week doing the discussions, doing the write-ups, and working through the material, right? So that should be your studying. The other part of the exam is your essay, and it is going to be really broad, and it's going to be purposefully subjective. There is no perfect answer. It's all about how well you interpret the material, offer critical thinking, and can put recommendations down on paper that make sense and are accurate and influential and creative and interesting. You'll get more details about the exams as it approaches, but just know that those essays are pretty broad, and it's going to force you to really write critically. Okay, so what are these module write-ups? You're going to have 10 of them. They're due throughout the semester. And again, they're really supposed to be exam prep type of opportunities. It's your chance to, I'm kind of forcing you to really think through whatever's been talked about during the video lectures that will be posted along with each one of these modules. And you're going to get 1 of 3 points. If you do a good job and you really show me that you've thought it through, you'll get all 10 points. If I can tell that it's just kind of, you may not have even listened to the slides, and I'll be able to tell, and you just like throw something together last minute, I'll even give you 5 points. But if you don't turn it in at all, or and you can't turn it in late, because I'll be offering feedback from everybody right away that you'll get to see. So if you don't turn it in, you're going to get 0 points. But that's all I'm doing, 10, 5, or 0, but you will get feedback specific to those module write-ups. And here's some general feedback on expectations for length. And module write-ups are always due on Fridays before midnight. Okay, so that's the sequence, that's the routine. The other module submission is the online discussions, and these go in two parts. So I'll post a feed question, or excuse me, a seed question within Canvas, and I'll show you where those are in a second. And you will be responsible for responding individually before midnight on Wednesday to those initial seed questions. Once you have posted that initial seed question, then it will show you everybody else's responses in the class. And so then by midnight on Friday, you'll need to post a response just to one other person within the class, just one part 2 post. And these online discussions end up being really, really good ways to learn the material. I expect everybody to be professional, offer critical insight, and don't be afraid to offer in some constructive criticism. A lot of times people's responses are kind of boring. I really encourage you to push people and encourage each other to think more deeply. Here's some guidelines in terms of length. Same thing here. It's worth 10 points. And you'll get a 10, 5, or 0 based upon your effort. And here's what I'm looking for in your posts. Providing something that's unique, something relevant, linking concepts to what we've talked about in class, applying theoretical concepts, building on the comments or perspectives of others, and applying the contingency perspective. Talked a little bit about this in the introductory video, talking about when things make sense and why things make sense. There is no black and white answer to pretty much everything we're going to cover in this class. You have to think through the why, the situation, the context to really make good arguments. Okay, next, research project. I'm going to offer a separate video because this is a big assignment that's going to go through the research project in more detail. But here's a quick summary of where we're headed. So you're going to work in a team, and there's going to be multiple steps to this research project. First, you're going to offer some tentative hypotheses for a research project. Then you're going to put together some potential scales or potential ways to measure these items that are in your hypotheses. And then you're going to do a data collection. And all of us are actually going to do a data collection together. So there will be a theme for the entire class, and the theme will be related to leader-follower relationships. And everybody is going to be helping contribute data that's going to go into one big data set. So every group will go out and get as many as they can, usually 20 to 30 is the norm, and then we combine all that data together on the same research question, but coming at it from different angles, because everybody's hypotheses will be similar, but we'll have different scales and whatnot. And so we can all use that data file in order to test our hypotheses. And it ends up being more fun when we're all talking about something similar because we have a high enough sample size to actually find things that are statistically significant. And if things don't work, you could start to explore other ideas that maybe other people have collected scales for. So once you've done that, you're going to put together a rough draft of the final paper, and that's where 2 weeks before it due, you're going to submit a rough draft or an outline, however far along you and your group get. I'll give you lots of feedback, give you some ideas, and then the final paper is due the week before the final exam. So you're going to be working through these deliverables all semester long, but there are 2 really important things that you need to do before you get started. Actually, this is one together, but there's 2 steps to it. In order to collect data for a research project, you have to go through what's called City Online Training. And I need you to do that before the February 12th. And there is a reminder within Canvas to do that. It'll take you anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to complete. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes. I think I have to do it every 3 years for the university as a researching faculty member. Click on this link. It'll take you to somewhere to register, and it's like taking a little miniature online course. Last time I took it, it gave you little quiz questions at the end of each section, and if you don't get it right, you get to take over the quiz if you don't hit a certain threshold, and then it accumulates a score, and you just kind of have to know enough to pass. That's all that matters. So do your best. Once you've done that, then fill out this Google Sheet. And all it is asking for your name, username, completion date. And then when everybody has done this, I have to send this Excel sheet to Miami University's IRB to say, hey, we've done this, and these folks are going to be collecting data. This is a IRB submission that I started a while ago for our honor students. I've done this 3-4 semesters now, and it's worked great in order to make sure that we're all up to par on what we're supposed to be doing to collect data together. So again, research project, you're going to learn a lot about human capital analytics, about data analysis, about messing with this really subjective, sticky subject of social science and people, managing people. So it's a lot of fun. There's one extra credit opportunity. You can do a current events paper and submit it anytime before the final exam. That's the only extra credit opportunity that I'm offering. And essentially it's enough points to basically bump you up if you're on the bubble, right? Where like rounding wasn't enough to help you. This is what will get you to that next point. So don't put it on me to round up your score for no reason. If you really want to make sure you get over that bubble, here's your opportunity to do it. Some professionalism expectations. I'm really not worried, but I do also just want to make sure everybody understands how important fairness is to everybody. So from my end, please, please, please don't ask me for me to round up your grade for no reason, for extra credit opportunities. That's not fair to everybody else in the class. Everybody gets the same opportunities. Everybody's on the same wavelength. And then also making sure that, all of our conversations online, in email to me and to each other for those discussions, I really, really expect this to be practice for the types of behaviors and the types of communication you would have in a business setting. Excuse me. This is a safe environment. This is our chance to kind of flex those professionalism muscles. Academic integrity, everything that is submitted goes through Turnitin, the plagiarism detection software. So if anything looks funky, I'll check it out. And so I really encourage you to be careful and make sure that you're not doing anything fishy. Integrity, respect, responsibility, these really get down to these professionalism suggestions. And then just a disclaimer, I might change things if I need to. I've done this exact syllabus a few times and it's worked out really well. And just basically updated some content material. So I don't picture any issues in terms of the organization, but you never know. I'm happy to adjust if big problems surface. So your course calendar, this aligns with what you'll see in your Canvas page, but here it is also as a hard copy or electronic version of the hard copy. So for Module 1, there will be 2 videos that are posted. There's a required reading. So in your one textbook, the ebook that I wrote, you'll need to read these 8 pages. And then here are the assignments, and those will be listed within your module of things that you need to complete. One thing to pay attention to, I really, really need everybody to fill out this survey that is in their Canvas for Module 1 by Tuesday, the 26th. What this is you telling me what your availability is. Now, I imagine everybody's going to have relatively similar availability because you're all in honors section together. But there might be people who have other commitments or slightly different classes. I want to make sure that I put teams together where availability is not a problem. It's one of the hardest things students go through when working together as teams. So if you fill that out, I can make sure there aren't any challenges in terms of availability. And that'll help me assign you to teams. So Module 2, very similar. We're going to have a team meeting where date and time will be determined. I'll send you an email based upon what you'll be telling me about your availability, just to make sure that you guys have everything you need, your team is up and running, answer any questions you might have about the class at large. This is online asynchronous, but we will have some times, but I'll make sure all those meetings are flexible. I'll make sure all of those meetings are during times where I know that you and your team are available. Module 3, you'll need to have your city online training done by, again, February 12th, but the rest is pretty much the same. Module 4 is pretty normal. Exam week, pretty normal. Exam 1 is open all day Friday. Module 5, one of your research project deliverables is due. I'm also going to have a second team meeting that day to get you set up and make sure you have everything you need for your research project. Module 6 and Module 7 are pretty normal. There's one of the deliverables for the research project. We've got a buffer week in here, as I mentioned, in showing you the Canvas page. We want to make sure we give ourselves some time. The research project is a lot of work, and I want to make sure that you guys don't fall behind and that remains a priority instead of just trying to constantly keep up with weekly modules. And then we have exam 2, pretty normal, module 8, module 9, pretty normal. Research project feedback week. So this is when you're going to send me a rough draft, and then I'll schedule a time to go through that rough draft with you and discuss it. Module 10 is pretty normal. Research project is due this week. Nothing else is due that week. It's due, I put it on the 6th because the university has designated the 7th as a wellness day. So I got to make it due the day before on the 6th. Now, if there's any problems with that, I don't have a problem with you submitting on the 7th instead of the 6th. But technically, I'm not supposed to allow you to do any work on that day. But it's up to you. It's due on the 6th, but I am more than happy to be lenient if you can't make it until the 7th. Final exam will be on exam day. That is designated by the university. And then here are the ethical guidelines for writing assignments. Please look through those to make sure you're not doing anything accidentally that would be considered plagiarism. All right, so let's hop back over to the Canvas page and go through some modules. And this will be the last thing I show you. So module 1 instructions. This is a good example of what it's going to look like. It's reminding you what the video topics are. So I will have, by the time you're looking at this, you will see some videos posted for module 1. And then module 2, 3, 4, etc. Those videos probably will not be posted well in advance, but they will be posted at least by the Friday before the week starts. So if this is module 1 week, the videos from module 2 will be posted by that Friday, knowing that on Monday you'll be starting module 2. So I do make sure that I'm at least ahead in terms of the weekend so that you can get prepared. And I will try and post it even earlier and even earlier as the semester continues. So your reading reminders, that availability survey, this will take you to these submissions. So let's take a look at Module 1 online discussion so you have an idea what that looks like. This is pretty much what it says in the syllabus in terms of instructions. And then the assignment task, here it is. Here's what you're supposed to write about. So some argue that strategy is a better predictor of blah, 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 blah. So this is, task is probably a poor word. It should just be assignment prompt probably. This is the prompt and this is what you will submit a discussion for. Okay, so do your replies in there and then it'll open up and you'll be able to see everybody else's. So let's go to the module write-up so you have an idea of what that looks like. So again, the instructions are pretty much exactly what it has in the syllabus with just a few reminders that it needs to be submitted as a Word doc, and make sure you name it so I can keep it organized. And here it is. It's kind of pointing your attention to a specific part of the reading, and it's asking a question, and that's what you will submit up here. If you hit this little box, submit assignment, and then upload it. And just so you know, the module write-ups very much are like personal development, self-leadership type activities where I'm giving you content in the lecture videos and you're talking about it in the online discussions to get a better grasp of what it is. But the module write-ups are really about like, okay, how does this apply to me? Like, why does this even matter? Right? So it's a great way to grapple with the material, but also it's kind of a head fake in that I'm helping you work through that material through your own lens and for your own life and for your own circumstances. So this ends up being a lot of what students would say is one of their favorite parts of the class is that it's real. Like this really is talking about your life. And I get to know the students so much better through these module write-ups because some of these questions get pretty personal and it's all confidential. I'm not going to like post these anywhere or anything like that, but really take this opportunity to reflect, right? You're in this class, you have to do it in order to get the points. So why not take it seriously and really kind of learn from it and figure out if you can grow and develop, because that's the most important part of school. So that's it. That's everything. Good luck. Send me an email. Let me know if you need any help. Thanks. Good luck.